There you go, that's the brand new one from Sean Smith, and it's called Fire, out on Energize Records. It's an absolute corker. He's doing well, that boy. Fair play.
Calon FM on 105 FM. Your community, your music.
Right, what is there to go and see, I hear you wonder?
What's the buzz? Tell me what's happening. What's the buzz? Tell me what's happening. What's the buzz? Tell me what's happening. What's the buzz? Tell me what's happening.
Now, a couple of months ago, I think we're just having a chat now. I think it was about April time. We had Robert Derry in the studio to talk about his last production that he did, and it was a two show. I don't even know if you'd call it a two-hander, but it was two shows, first half and a second half. It was called The Dock Brief and The Dumb Waiter, and that took place in a sort of summertime. But now the Suitcase Theatre company are put together the Waiting for Godot, and it's a new one on me, this Waiting for Godot. I knew that Rick Mail and Aid Edmondson did it years ago in London, but I haven't heard of it done for ages. So here we are. Welcome to the show, Mr. Robert Derry, going to tell us all about it. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm very good, thanks.
Marvellous. So tell us, how did the Dock Brief go for you?
It went really well, yeah, because we had both the Dock Brief and the Dumb Waiter, which was being done by Skimming Stones Theatre Company, and it went really. Yeah, we got about 80 people in a night for I think it was 3 nights, and yeah, it went really well. We had good audiences, and the play went really well. So,
right,
yeah,
fantastic. And you directed that, of course.
Yeah, I directed the Dock Brief part, and then the Dock Brief play. Yeah, and thankfully the solicitor character remembered all his lines, because that was something we were struggling with a bit before. But yeah, no, it all went really well. I mean, I was a bit worried about it, but we got some great laughs. I mean, John Wilder was playing the convict, and it was fantastic. He really brought the house down sometimes. Yeah. So, yeah.
Do you get people coming in and reviewing it and stuff, or is it?
Not usually, because we're a community group. Technically, as far as the rights are concerned, you're not actually allowed to get them professionally reviewed, because because they would say, well, if you do a bad amateur performance, then that reflects badly on the play, which I don't think is necessary, because I think I've seen some fantastic community group plays and I've seen some terrible professional plays, so but yeah, no, we didn't actually get reviewed, but it would be nice to have had a review, but we got standing ovations, and everyone, when you meet everyone outside, they really enjoyed it. It was a great evening.
Brilliant. And I suppose it's all word of mouth, I suppose, with your sort of thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we get a lot of people. I mean, I think a lot of people, they come to see our last show, and then they say, "Oh, what are you doing next? What are you doing next?" And then you can sort of build up a bit of a regular audience. So they see us in the program, they see Suitcase Theatre, and they go, "Oh, right, okay, that's what they're doing next."
Yeah,
so
that's them.
Yeah, we get that, and I think you just try and tell everyone you can meet are being friends and family, and they spread it on, and hopefully you're pulling as many people as you can.
Yeah, brilliant. And we were just talking as well, weren't we, before we came on air, then, that you did another thing in the Clwyd room in Theatre Clwyd, and that was like an old time.
Yeah, it was based. It was a 1917 music hall, so it was around because of the centenary of the First World War. We based it around a music hall set in 1917. So we had musicians, we had singers, we had comic acts, and we also had readings from soldier poets of the First World War that died in the First World War. So I read a poem from Isaac Rosenberg, who died in the First World War, and we had other ones from other soldier poets of the First World War. So and that was a really good evening. It was just one evening, but I think we pretty much filled it out. And it was,
did? Well, I went, as you know.
Yes.
Well, my son was singing in it, and it was a really, really good night. And there was a guy in it who was, I seem to remember, just thinking about it now. He was a comedian, and is he like an amateur comedian, or is he a professional comedian?
No, I think he was an amateur comedian. That was the two that was doing the Have I Got a Line in a Box or something like that.
That's it, yeah. They were really good.
Yeah, no, they did a really good routine. I mean, we didn't actually know what they were going to do, because Mike just sort of, he said, well, we want to do a comedy routine. He said, oh, you just get on with it. So that was the first time we'd really seen it. So we really got it. Went really well. But it was very funny. They were very good. Yeah. And
I mean, apart from my son, was that all your Suitcase Theatre company doing that? Was it, or did you get people in from around the community?
Well, no, we sort of for those kind of events, we sort of pull a lot of different people in. I mean, a lot of the actors, so the people who were the master of ceremonies and the soldier poets were with the group. But then, because we don't always do do musical stuff or singing stuff, we did bring those kind of people in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we're quite a fluid group. It depending on what we're doing, depends on kind of what. We don't really have a fixed membership, if you know what I mean. It sort of changes depending on what we're doing.
All right, perfect. Well, it was a great night, and you got to keep doing those. But that was then, of course, and this is now. Well, I say now. It's the starts on the 22nd of November, and it's Waiting for Godot. I talked then in the intro about Rick Mayall and Nate Edmondson doing it. Is it a comedy?
Well, It can be interpreted in a lot of ways. It can be done in a lot of ways. It definitely has a lot of comic moments. I mean, I imagine Rick Mayall would be very good in it. But it's more of a play. I mean, basically, it's about two tramps waiting on a road next to a tree, waiting for Godot, and stuff happens whilst they're waiting. So some of the things are really comic, and then some of the things are really quite poignant and sad. And it is a wide play that gets a lot of interpretations.
Yeah. So can you just basically do any play you want to do?
If you can get the rights for it, yeah. You just sort of. I mean, you need to have a director who wants to do it. And Mike was really keen on doing Waiting for Godot, and you've got to have a cast that wants to do it. So usually we sort of get to a short list of about 2 or 3 plays. And then you kind of feel around for, okay, who wants to direct it, who wants to act in it, who wants to work backstage on it. And I think Waiting for Godot, it's quite a well-known play amongst theatre circles, and it's kind of a phrase that can be turn of phrase that can be used. And we brought in a lot of people just off the back of the name because they just thought, I just want to be in that.
Yeah. So you're I say you directed the last thing, but you're actually in this one now.
Yes, I'm actually in this one. I have a well, it's certainly a challenging part in some ways, and then some ways it's not. But basically, I play Lucky, who is a slave to the landowner in the local area called Pozzo, and they come across Vladimir and Estragon just waiting for Godot to come, and I am being carted on stage on the end of a rope carrying 2 bags, and I have to stand in the middle of the stage for about 40 minutes just holding these bags with a hunchback. It can be a bit painful. And then I have a massive rambling speech that goes on for about 5 minutes that makes some sense, and then it kind of loses all sense at the end. But
right, is it just 4 blokes in it? Yeah,
so it's just a four-man play. So Vladimir and Estragon, they're the two, they're the principal parts, and they're on throughout. And then Pozzo and Lucky come on once in the first act and then once in the second act.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. Well, hang on. We'll hold on there because I'm just in the mood for a bit of ZZ Top actually. But this is fantastic. We're talking to Robert Derry from the Suitcase Theatre Company. If you've got any questions for him, get in contact with me, Andy Snowden at Calon FM Stage and Screen on the old Facebook, or indeed at Calon FM on Twitter. Go ahead, I double dare you. There you go. Love the old ZZ Tops. That was Lagrange, of course, taken from the movie Armageddon.
Calon FM on 105 FM. Your community, your music.
So, indeed, we are talking this afternoon with Mr. Robert Derry, and he is about to do his Waiting for Godot at the Theatre Clwyd at the end of November. If you've got anything to ask him, anything to say about it, you get in contact with us, Andy Snowden at Calon FM Stage and Screen on the old Facebook. That's Andy Snowden at Calon FM Stage and Screen on the old Facebook. Got a question in for Robert. Anyway, he works in a community theatre, right? Community theatre company. Any questions about that kind of thing? You know how it works. Come on, let's just do it. You were saying actually when we were listening to a bit of ZZ Top, you've been to see him live.
Yeah, no, I saw ZZ Top live at Rambling Man. I think it was in July. I mean, they're getting on a bit, but they still know how to do it. It was really good.
Is it still the same 3 guys?
Yeah, well, I assume so. I mean, as far as I'm aware, yeah, it's still the same 3. Yeah.
Ironically, the bloke without a beard is called Beard, isn't he? That's his name. Something Beard. I can't remember exactly what his name is. Kim Daisley, who does the show before this. Yeah. Actually, Kim, Robert's enjoying your Mr. Kipling. What are they called? French Fancies.
French Fancies.
Yeah, he's got stuck into them, he has. Anyway, she said that she studied Waiting for Godot in school. So it's an old play.
Yeah, no, it's
Sorry,
it's,
Kim.
It certainly is an old play. It was written in the 1950s, and it was actually written in French originally. The author is English. Well, he's Irish actually. It's Samuel Beckett, but he wrote it in French, and then it got translated into English afterwards, and then it got put on in London, and then it's just been put on by different people since, and it has it's very. A lot of people don't like it because they say nothing happens in it, because nothing really does happen. At the end of the play, the characters are still sort of all in the same position, but it's very much more about sort of it's there to be interpreted. There's lots of ambiguity in it, and you can play it for laughs, or you can play it really serious, and it can be done in almost any way. And
well, that's quite interesting. I don't think there's many plays you can actually do that with. If it's funny, it's funny, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it is, but I mean, we have tried to keep the humour and the comedy in it, because I think you need that in order to break it up. Otherwise, it just becomes a monotonous drone for about an hour. So we break it up with the comedy, but there are some really poignant moments, and the two main actors, Ali and Niall, are really good at just. They bounce off each other really well, and there are really funny moments, and there are moments where they're really quite somber and pensive, and they deliver some great lines, and it's a really interesting play.
Yeah, I know we were saying just before we listened to ZZ Top there that how you go about choosing your plays and how you go about casting it. Is there an audition process to join in, or do you kind of know? Do you think, well, we need 4 blokes, and I know 4 really good blokes who could do this?
Yeah, I mean that's kind of how you do it. I mean, in an ideal world, you'd like to be able to audition, but there's not. You can do it in a professional theatre, because you've got hundreds and thousands of actors that are just desperate for work, so that you can just put an audition call out, and thousands of people will turn up. But I think with amateur theatre, it's a lot more difficult. You kind of, all the community groups are kind of sharing from the same pot. So what normally happens is you'll sort of think, right, well, I know about this play needs 4 people. I know that there's about 6 to 8 people that I know that I think that they could do it. So you kind of approach those people first and try and get them to take the parts. Really, we don't really have the luxury of being able to do like open auditions. It just never seems to happen. We've done it a couple of times, but usually you end up going with people that you thought, I knew I wanted him to do it. Yeah.
So if somebody wanted to join Suitcase Theatre Company, can they just get in contact with you?
Yeah. If they can just drop me an email to my email, which is robert.derry@suitcasetheatre.org, and let me know if you'd like to be involved. At the moment, this is what we're doing. This is all cast. But next year we're looking at doing something about the armistice. So for World War I, because in November. So if anybody would be interested in being involved in something like that, just drop me an email and I'll get back to you.
All right, give us that email address again.
It's robert.derry@suitcasetheatre.org.
Perfect. All right, marvellous. So when is this production taking place then? Do you do all your stuff at Theatre Clwyd?
Yeah, we do. We've done the majority of the stuff at Theatre Clwyd, mainly in the Emlyn Williams Theatre, and we also do some bits in the Clwyd room. I mean it's a really great space, the Emlyn Williams. It's quite a compact theatre, and you can get a really good environment and a connection with the audience in there. So we really like doing plays in there. It's a fantastic theatre. Yeah,
and I think a lot of people in this area, they don't know how lucky they are with Theatre Clwyd, to be honest with you.
No, I mean I think that's a challenge that the theatre's had, is trying to get themselves out there and get people into the theatre, because and a lot of people say, I don't like the theatre, I've never been to the theatre, and you should just go to the theatre, just go and see something, anything, and you'll have a great time, and it's a good night out. And I would heavily recommend Waiting for Godot.
Yeah, of course you could. Of course you do. And when is it taking place? Let's have a look then. 22nd of November until the 25th of November. So what, you're just doing 3, 4? Are you doing any matinees and whatnot?
No, so it's just 4 evening performances. All start at 7:45 p.m. So tickets are $9.50 for adults and then $7.50 for concessions.
Perfect. Marvellous. He's good at this, isn't he? $9.50 for adults, $7.50 for concessions. It says here, language, English. That's Andy. Directed by Mike Stevens. He's good, Mike, isn't he? He's done. I've known Mike for a long time.
Yeah.
He's
He's a fantastic writer, and I mean he's written a lot of plays, he's written a lot of speeches, he's written a lot of prose. He's a fantastic writer, and he seems to know like everyone in community theatre somewhere. Everyone seems to know Mike, and he's very good at just pulling people together and pulling a production together, a really good performance. So.
Right, marvellous. I've just noticed Kim's given us another message here. Where do you Suitcase Theatre go? Where do you rehearse?
We don't really have a fixed location, so we sort of rehearse wherever there's space. We typically rehearse in Connors Quay Labour Club, but we also rehearse in the Daniel Owen Centre in Mole and in the St Mary's Church Hall in Mole. And we're actually rehearsing next week in Bicester Church Hall in Buckley. It just sort of depends on where there's space, really, to be honest.
Yeah. I suppose it is a bit of it's a bit difficult, isn't it, when you haven't got like professional companies. They've got most of them have got a bit of money behind them, so they can go and rehearse in a nice little spot somewhere. Yeah. But if you're a community theatre group and you haven't really got that sort of money to just throw away, do you have go to people's houses and whatnot?
We have done that a couple of times. When you're just doing read-throughs and stuff like that, we sometimes go to a couple of people's houses. But you just try and get where you can, and as long as it's a big space and it's available. There are a lot of church halls and there are a lot of places in North Wales you can just sort of get into and start rehearsing. As long as there's the actors, that's all you really need.
Yeah, perfect. Well, good luck with it, mate. I think it's going to be another cracker this for you. Yeah. Suitcase Theatre Company. Here we go. I'll just give you the dates again. 22nd to the 25th of November. That's in a few weeks.
Yes.
Are you ready?
Yeah. No, we're rehearsing hard and it's almost ready. Yeah.
Excellent.
It's going to be fantastic.
Perfect. £9.50 as he says, or £7.50 for the concessions, and the box office at Theatre Clwyd 01352 701 521. 01352 701 521 is the box office up at Theatre Clwyd. Absolutely belting. Good to see you again, buddy.
Good to be here.
Cheers, man. And we've got a song especially for you. Go on, do you want to introduce it?
Yeah, so it's Little by Little by Oasis.
Of course it is.
We the people fight for our existence. We don't claim